Writings of Eliyahu, chapter 1. The record of Eliyahu the Tishbite, which he wrote for his Talmud Elisha, whom he called from his field in Avel Mecholah, unto the Kodesh order of Elohim. Behold, I, Eliyahu, write this record with mine own hand, and no man shall see it until I have ascended into the Shamayim. Then shall my authority and the keys of my kehunah, which is the kehunah of the fathers, pass to my son Elisha by right of lineage and obedience. This kehunah came down to me from the fathers by lineage, for I am a descendant of Yehושע the son of Nun, who was descended from Ephraim the son of Joseph, through whom the rights of the firstborn descended in Yisrael. These rights I received when I was but a lad from my father, before he was martyred for the testimony of Yehua, and according to the word of Yehua, I have appointed Elisha, who is my adopted son, to be my successor in bearing of this work. Nevertheless, not all of my rights shall rest upon him, for Yehua hath said, Behold, my servant Eliyahu shall not die, but shall bear with him the keys of his ministry unto the city of the Shamayim, until the last days, when I shall send him unto one of his seed, whom I shall raise up to bear the fullness of this ministry again among the sons of men. But he shall leave with Elisha those keys necessary to continue his work in organizing the schools of the Nevi'im and the order of Henoch, that the sons of the Nevi'im may continue to live after the Kodesh order of Elohim. Writings of Eliyahu, chapter 2. Therefore, my son Elisha, I leave for thee this book of the order, by which thou mayest govern the order of Henoch, for I have organized and governed this order according to the revelations of Yahweh to me, and under the direction of his Ruah Ha'Qodesh, I give thee these instructions. Every one who desireth to enter the order of Henoch must be one who loveth Yahweh his Elohim with all his heart, might, mind, and strength, and one who loveth his fellow man as himself, according to the word of Yahweh through Moshe. He must covenant to live the Torah of consecration, and to hold all things common with his brethren, according to the pattern set by our first parents. For when they came forth from the garden, they divided not up the land, but held it in common, until their posterity through wickedness began to lay claim to it for themselves. Behold, this private ownership of the property came to pass through the teachings of that evil combination, which was organized by Cain, that men might get gain for themselves, because the love of Elohim and man is not in them. He who entereth the order must be one who is dedicated to seeing the face of Elohim, and receiving from him the promise of eternal lives. He must keep the commandments and statutes of Yahweh his Elohim, to do what is good and upright in the sight of Elohim, according to that which he commanded through Moshe the Torah giver, and through his servants the Nevi'im. He who seeketh to enter the Kodesh order of Elohim must be one who loveth that which Yahweh loveth, and hateth that which Yahweh hateth. He must keep all the evil far from him, and love to do good, that his works may bear testimony of his righteousness before Elohim and man. He must be governed by the principles of truth, righteousness, and justice in all he doeth, while in this Mishkan of clay, having repented of his inclination to follow after the dictates of the flesh, no longer doing evil according to the selfishness and jealousy and contentious spirit which dwelleth in the natural man. Every member of the order must be dedicated to bringing into a bond of mutual love all those who are striving to live after the Kodesh order of Elohim. To live after the order of the ancients means that they must live in the community of Elohim's elect, holding all things common and loving one another as themselves. Yea, they must unite in one heart and one mind, for only thus can Zion be built up in its perfect order, and the name of our Elohim be esteemed. Those entering the Kodesh order must have shown by their works their desires to live according to all that Elohim has revealed, to keep all his commandments, to perfect their lives according to Elohim's Kodesh order, that they may be sanctified by the blood of the covenant unto the renewal of their spirits and their bodies. They must love all the children of light, each according to his position in the house of Elohim, for those who live the highest Torah are most able to be loved, and so forth even unto the lowest Torah of Elohim. They must hate the works of darkness, and avoid intercourse with the sons of Belial, each according to the measure of his guilt, for Elohim will bring every work into judgment, and those who associate with the wicked will be condemned with them. Writings of Eliyahu, chapter 3. He who loveth the truth and truly desireth to live after the order of the Shamayim must declare his willingness to be united to the congregation of Yahweh's elect, and must consecrate by covenant all of his mind, all of his strength, and all of his wealth to the community of Elohim, so that his mind may be purified by the truth of Yahweh's precepts, his strength controlled by Yahweh's perfect ways, and his wealth disposed of in accordance with Yahweh's just design. He must order his life according to the pattern which Yahweh hath given, observing the hours of worship, the Shabbatot, and the appointed times to do them, neither omitting the feasts, nor neglecting the fasts of Yahweh. He must be one whose heart is knit unto the ordinances of Elohim's Torah, who will strive diligently to preserve them in purity, neither breaking the Torot, changing the ordinances, nor neglecting the everlasting covenants of our Elohim. Writings of Eliyahu, chapter 4. When such a man cometh forward to present himself as a candidate for admission into the order, he should be examined carefully by the elders of the community, and having been proven worthy, he must enter into a covenant in the presence of Elohim, the Kodesh messengers, and his brethren of the order, by entering into the waters of immersion, that he will do according to all that Elohim hath commanded, and not turn away from the service of Yahweh through fear of wicked men or evil spirits, nor through discouragement because of the trials which Belial shall send against him. For Yahweh Elohim of our fathers hath appointed that all who seek to live after his Kodesh order shall be tried and purified until their gold is pure and their dross consumed. When a man hath entered into this covenant in the waters of immersion, the elders of the community are to lay their hands upon his head and berakah him with the Ruah Ha'Qodesh of Elohim. Writings of Eliyahu, chapter 5. At the end of each year, every member of the community is to be interviewed from first to last, that the spiritual standing of each in the community may be determined. This is needful so long as Belial continues to hold sway as the Elohim of this world. The object of this interview is that every man in Yisrael may be made aware of his status in the community of Elohim's elect, that he may measure himself against the perfect, eternal society of the Shamayim. If any man finds that he is being governed by a law which is beyond his desires, then let him be placed among those who live after his own heart. If any man will qualify himself to live a Torah higher than he is living, let the opportunity be given him to live that Torah. Thus no man in Yisrael need be abased below his ability to qualify, nor exalted above his desires to live after the pattern of the Shamayim. Thus all members of the community will stand, each in his proper place, according to a true evaluation of his standing before Elohim. Let those who judge in these matters judge according to correct principle, in profound humility, being full of charity and equity toward their brethren and sisters, that the society of the Shamayim may flourish among you, being sanctified by love and unity in Yahweh our Elohim. Writings of Eliyahu, chapter 6. Anyone who refuses to live after the pattern of Elohim's Kodesh order, the perfect society of the Shamayim, but persists in walking after stubbornness of his own heart and the vain traditions of his fathers, shall not be admitted into the community of Elohim's elect. For inasmuch as he has rebelled against the discipline required of those who are called to set their lives in order according to the precepts of the Torah of the Shamayim, he cannot be counted among the Kodeshim of the Most High. The spiritual, mental, physical, and material resources of such a man are of no value to the community of Elohim's elect. Therefore, he shall not be permitted to enter into the order of Chenoch to live after the pattern of the Shamayim. If he were honest in acknowledging his weaknesses before Elohim, then would Yahweh make his weaknesses to become strengths unto him. But inasmuch as his heart remaineth stubborn, and he repenteth not, he shall remain in his sins. Such a one looketh upon the light of Elohim's truth, but seeth only darkness. He can never be sanctified because the light is not in him, that he should be born again, a new creature in Yahweh. Although he should offer numerous sacrifices in the similitude of the Lamb of Elohim, and be immersed in water any number of times, and be washed and anointed after the order of Hamashiach, yet he can never be cleansed from his sins except through contrition and repentance, wherein he rejecteth his former works, and walketh in the path which our fathers walked, which is the Kodesh order of Elohim. Unclean he remaineth, so long as he will not be governed by the Torah of Elohim, neither submit himself to the ordinances. He shall never enter into communion with the hosts of the Shamayim. It is only when the spirit of man hath been awakened to the light of Elohim's truth that he can begin to direct his life according to those Kodesh principles by which he can ascend into the presence of Elohim and make his calling and election sure. Only through obedience to the Torah and that Kodesh order which has been handed down from our fathers who entered into the presence of Yahweh and held communion with the general assembly and ecclesia of the firstborn, can a man sanctify his life to commune with the fathers who have gone on before. Thus can the berakah and rights and the kehunah of the fathers descend upon their heads, and they shall dwell in the courts of the sanctified in time and eternity. For only through obedience to the Torah and ordinances of Elohim, walking trustworthily after his Kodesh order, and enduring unto the end therein, can a man be redeemed from the fall, and gain a remission of all his sins, so that his mind can be open to gaze upon the true light of Chai. It is through obedience to the Torah and ordinances of Yahweh that a man receiveth the Ruah Ha'Qodesh, which will lead him unto true and complete union with Elohim and all Kodesh men, as his iniquities are lifted from him, and his mind is expanded to receive Elohim's truth, that he may walk therein as one of the children of light. For the atonement of the Lamb of Elohim cometh upon all those who are upright and humble and submissive to all the ordinances of Elohim, that their sin should be washed away in the waters of immersion, and they be sanctified through the blood of the covenant and immersion in fire and in the Ruah Ha'Qodesh. Thus are they purified from all stain, that they should be pure and Kodesh, without spot. Only such a one can perfectly direct his steps to walk blamelessly through all the vicissitudes of life, never deviating from the ways of Elohim, but keeping all the commandments without turning either to the right or to the left, and without overstepping any of the bounds imposed by the word of Elohim. Then indeed is he perfectly acceptable before Elohim, and a pleasure unto Yahweh. Then will his joy increase, and he will enter by covenant into the community of the trustworthy to dwell with the fathers who have inherited their thrones forever and ever.